This thing actually worked. I can say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again with me. It is a dear pleasure to share some time with friends, to be here and be present as this unique chemical system I find myself as. You ever think about that? The fact that you are a very complex chemical system that is actively participating in its own perpetuation. Every little bit of food you put in your body, Asia, every little sip of water you drink, every breath of air you breathe in, everything that is said to you, every feeling that it is you feel, comes from this chemical hole, right? We can go down the rabbit hole of talking about whether or not, might have some sunscreen in my eyeballs. Hey, Sam. We can talk about whether or not consciousness, feels things. You think consciousness feels things? I don't know if consciousness feels things. I think consciousness experiences things, which is different. Experiencing something to me is like almost like a continuation, right? It's like something that happens. That's the experience. And then the opinions, the formation of thoughts, the formation of emotions around something happening, that is feeling something. Does consciousness allow things to feel? Yeah, there we go. That's a good question, Joe. I do like that one. I do believe consciousness allows things to feel, almost from that perspective of almost like being film, right? Consciousness in this scenario, in my mind at least, is like film, right? As film basically captures shot by shot, right? Instance by instance of reality as it passes, that is kind of consciousness to me, that instance capturer. But as soon as that instance is captured, it creates the scenario of having that film developed and having that film then shown to people and having people then form opinions on what it is they saw, right? What it is they felt about what it is they saw. The experience that came from them actually being present with the film as it was. You know what I mean, Sterna van Rooyen? You know what I mean? Hi, it's nice having you. Yeah, I know what I mean, I think. Today we're talking about specifically the fact that you are chemistry. That is like the gist of it, right? And I know maybe it's a little bit more than that. Your soul and your person and your put identification here and you're smart or maybe you believe you're not, right? There's all of those things that influence our experiences too, admittedly. However, the chemistry of our bodies, the fact that we have these complex microbiomes in our bellies that take the foods that we eat and produce neurochemicals with them, that those neurochemicals come up from our bellies, up into our brains. And if we don't have the right balance of those neurochemistries, then we don't feel too great. Isn't that wild? That I can take antibiotics, nuke my microbiome, eat a bunch of bad food, and then suddenly I can just be like taken by this general sense of dismay. This general sense of, you know what? Things suck. And I kind of want to not be here anymore. Just because of your guts. Never mind even your guts, the things living inside your guts. Like, what? That's wild. That's absolutely bonkers. And again, right, that's like one sliver of the chemistry that you are. Your body produces chemicals of its own as well. Do you know that? A lot of its own chemicals, like an absurd amount. I wonder if there's even a number. I wonder if we ask a language model if it'll be able to tell us. We're discussing the human body as a chemical system, as a lab of chemistry. And it's very curious to me how our bodies make so many different types of chemicals. Never mind even the microbiome we have and all of the chemicals they make with all of the foods that we eat. I'm very curious, especially about how many different novel chemicals the human body makes for itself. Is there any study that goes into depth about that as information? And what is the threshold for feeling anyway? Is perception feeling, or is it how we apply the experience we're perceiving? I think to me, personally, it's a kind of applying the experience we're having. Because again, we can argue that amoeba or bacteria, bacteria are feeling too, right? We can argue that. But I don't know if they're having feelings the way we're having feelings, like the complexity of emotion that come with it, right? So in that way, I think they might be conscious, but I don't know if they're feeling, right? But that's my own personal bias. Please, Mr. Sunscreen, stop migrating into my eyeball, please. The human body is indeed a remarkable chemical laboratory, constantly producing and managing a vast variety of molecules far beyond what's in our food or even microbiome. It is a rich field of research, and several comprehensive studies and databases explore exactly this. Human Metabolome Database. It's not metabiome, that's Bolome. Bolome? Bolome. Metabolomy? That sounds like it's the right way to say it. Sounds cooler too. Human Metabolomy Database. What's that, you might be wondering? I'm sorry about that. I skipped ahead and saw the information. The Human Metabolomy Database, or the HMDB, catalogs 220,945 metabolite entries found in humans, ranging from common small molecules to lipids and hormones. Your body produces at least 220,000 different metabolites. That is fucking wild. Of these, about 3,444 commonly occur and are quantifiable in biofluids like blood, urine, or cerebrospinal fluid. The 2022 update extended the database significantly, doubling its size. Those numbers are not checking out because it's a lower number than the previous one, doubling its size to over 217,000 compounds, including novel oxidized lipids, bile acid conjugates, and microbiome-derived molecules. Oh, here comes the microbiome as well, or here it comes. Then, that is just the one, right? As the HMDB is recognized as the most comprehensive human metabolomy reference, essentially for anyone studying the chemicals our bodies generate. Then there is microbial metabolite databases. The human microbiome alone is estimated to produce another 55,000 distinct compounds, different ones, 55,000 of them, many of which become a part of our internal chemistry. These microbial molecules range from beneficial, the anti-inflammatory kind, to potentially harmful, highlighting how deeply our body and its co-inhabitants are intertwined. And then there is metabolic repositories and resources. A mass spectrometry database containing spectra of around 930,000 molecular standards used to identify human and unknown human metabolites. I don't know what that means. You're built out of 930,000 different molecules? Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be interpreted. Metabolomics Workbench metabolites, FoodDB, MyMeDB, and others integrate human microbial and dietary metabolites, facilitating biomarker discovery, aging studies, and disease profiling. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more important here. I think those are good numbers, right? If we take the numbers that our body produces, about 200, let's round it down, right? We'll just like cut 10% of the number that is there. 200,000 distinct chemicals that your body is producing for itself. And then the stuff you've eaten throughout your life, put a bunch of stuff inside your body that are now living in you. And those things make 55,000 distinct chemicals as well. I think I was like intending on talking about this as a stream topic, but now that I'm being faced with the data, I'm realizing that I'm way out of my depth. Holy shit! Like I didn't realize how far I'm out of my depth. Right? It's like real. It's like I can swim, and then you swim out into the ocean, and then suddenly you realize you're in the midst of a bunch of sharks. That's kind of the experience I'm having right now. I will go in 45 minutes. Okay, do. Thank you for spending the next while here with us. That is bonkers. That is absolutely wild. I didn't actually realize that there are that many. There are way more than I anticipated. Right? And I probably like would spend so much time like going through each of those chemicals if I had to try and like read out the names. Can you give us like just for interest's sake a guesstimation on how long it would take the average person if they could read all of those different metabolite entries and all of those distinct compounds produced by the microbials? Like, how long would it take just to read every single compound? And let's highlight the 10 most significant ones, especially as it relates to our experience. Yesterday, we had a conversation about music a little bit and how listening to music from one part of your day to another part of your day can make the experience of that music different, and also so over big swaths of time. And I do believe that there's a lot of chemistry involved. So I want to know if there's any pinpointed chemicals that determine these experiential parts of our life. What is that, Joe word? Bro, that is how I've been feeling. Like I'm looking back to shore and I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, metabolites. Like I'm like not no joke even. That is literally how it was written. That is how it was written. Check this. No, what have you done? Go back. This company called themselves is it am I pointing at the right place? Yeah. Metabolites. It's funny. But it's true. Hashtag metabolites. When you metabolite things, I love it. Let's see. If someone had to read aloud all 275,000 known human and microbial compounds, it would take 6.5 full days. 550,000 seconds, 9,100 minutes, 153 hours, or 6.4 full days, nonstop, 24 hours a day. And that's just the names, not their functions, structure, or the interactions that they have with the rest of the world. Metabolites. Isn't that fucking bonkers? Just like, can we just take a moment to try and absorb what information we just got our brains exposed to? If I started right now, without fault, reading every single one of the compounds my body is producing right now, it'll take me 6.5 days just to name them. Just to say serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin. 6.5 days. And then I don't know jack. Then I don't know nothing. I don't know exactly, as they said, I don't know their function. I don't know their structure. I don't know the interactions they have with other chemicals, right? And then literally by the time we're done like knowing 10 chemicals and their interactions and their structure. You, you're already out of your depth. Back out of the depths. So yes, you're absolutely right. Right. I'm rice. Suddenly cut of me turning into rice. Not their function, structure, or interaction. So yes, you're absolutely right to say it's wild. It's a biochemical universe living inside of you right now. Now, for something even more fascinating, here are 10 of the most significant endogenous chemicals that directly shape how we experience life, especially things like music, emotion, memory, and mood. There are not just, these are not just molecules, they are perception shapers. This is going to be interesting. Of course. It gives me the ones that we all know. It gives me like the big ones, the ones that swing massive bats. I know all of these ones, technically. Te- Technically, I know all of these ones. I'm not too well documented or familiar, I think is the right way of saying. I'm not too familiar on anandamide. It's an endocannabinoid. Anandamide. How about that? Ananda is Sanskrit for bliss. Anandamide. It influences mood, memory, and novelty perception. But the rest we know. The rests are dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, cortisol, adrenaline or epinephrine, anandamide. That's a new one for me. Often linked to feelings of high on life or creative flow. And there's GABA, of course, melatonin, and acetylcholine. But we know all of these. I don't feel like I'm being taught anything. I'm more like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like your teacher is like, okay, today we're gonna go and learn math, and we're starting with 2 plus 2, and it's like, I know 2 plus 2, yo. I don't want to know. I don't want to learn some 2 plus 2s. But I mean, those are the big ones. So I guess I shouldn't be that surprised that I got what I asked for. Dopamine is the anticipation molecule, tied deeply to pleasure and reward, and that musical chills. Yeah, you get like two flavors of dopamine: anticipatory dopamine, and then satisfactory dopamine when you're listening to music, right? As a build up happens, you get dopamine. That's like, oh, there's something coming. And then when the drop happens, you get dopamine, right? So there's that, definitely. Spikes in response to be expected is peaks in the song, also key to motivation and goal seeking. Serotonin regulates our mood and our stability, helps with social connection. Low serotonin often correlates with depression. Balance levels help you feel okay in the moment. Endorphins, the natural painkillers and euphorics. Lutz is here. Okay, Yassi, bro. Lutz, yo, fuck it. Like, I've been missing Hendrik the last 2 days. And then the first thing I see is, I hate to be the deliverer of bad news. And my mind was like, hell no. I mean, it's bad news that he had to get more surgeries, I'm guessing. That's not ideal. That's usually not supposed to happen. I'm happy that he has access to getting of the surgeries, but I'm happy that he's stable, as you said again as well. Jeeves. Bless our dear friend Hendrik. Endorphins often surge during physical movement. Physical movement. More knifey stuff. Fuck, man. Were they planned or did something happen? He had a brain hemorrhage during the night from 2 days ago to yesterday. Like bleeding in the brain? Is that what it means? Brain hemorrhage? Holy shit. What is a brain hemorrhage? It's gonna start reading for me. See if I can stop it before it does. Let's let him know we'll be thinking of him.
Brain
Goodness.
hemorrhage.
Is a type of stroke that occurs when blood vessels within the skull rupture and bleeds into or around the brain. The brain. This bleeding can cause significant damage to brain cells, leading to a range of neurological symptoms and can be life-threatening. Holy shit, though. Give him our love, please do. Everybody, just hold in your mind our beloved friend, imagining him getting better. So I can't even imagine. Again, I'm happy that he's in the hospital at the very least. Oh, cortisol, we know. I'm feeling some cortisol right now. I can imagine he does too. Them stress hormones. Anandamide. I don't know if I'm being scammed with the whole anandamide. Is anandamide actually a real chemical? Or is that something that you hallucinated? I'm really curious. Very, very cool if it is in fact real. However, all of the other ones that you mentioned, I'm pretty familiar with. I don't necessarily find them too interesting. I think it's very apt that you gave me those because those are the ones that carry the biggest bats, to say it in so many words. Like they swing, they have a lot of weight behind them as it relates to my feelings. However, I was more in the mood to learn something new, right? To read some wacky chemical names that I've never known before, like anandamide. Tell me more about chemicals like those. Pinky promised I will. They thought he had another stroke at first and waited for some time with the surgery because of the wrong diagnosis. But according to the doctors, the surgeries were a success. Ew. I can remember something had happened at first, right? Like after the appendix removal. Oh, Gary Lee, dude. Bro, I've been thinking about you bunches. I saw the recent posts you've been doing, and I thought to myself that it is getting close to that time where I'll reach out and do a podcast with you directly. We're talking today about the chemical labs that our bodies are and the way that that internal chemistry and the way that we can potentially manipulate it affects our experience, affects how we feel about our lives and about the things that we're having right now. And I was in that kind of like topic, that conversation. We were going down, we're still going to go down the whole rabbit hole of learning about some of the chemistries in our body. And then we found out about a friend who is in the hospital. We found out about his hospital being through Lutz, that's here right now as well. But he's under the knife, even more so. We're sending him some blessings, sending you love too, dear friend. And I was finally able to find a free Asian developer who can keep the technical side of the company afloat. Nice. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, you can like imagine you're in the hospital to get your appendix removed. You have like a mini stroke. Your like half your body is DC'd. Then you have freaking brain hemorrhage. And then you get more operations and now you're more in the hospital. And then your business just like goes out of business at the same time because there's nobody to operations. It's like holy shit. Hendrik, dear friend. Can't imagine. This one is for Hendrik. Sending him blessings. And yes, anandamide is in fact a real compound. Oh good, you've got a lot of your plate, man. We appreciate the updates and we will always love seeing you here. It's true, Lutz. You don't always have to come with bad news. Hopefully next time you'll come with good news.
That's quicker. Okay, yeah. Now by taking the pool, I was telling you
But yeah, it's true. Anandamide is absolutely real. Not of my hallucinations. Its name comes from the Sanskrit Ananda, which means joy or bliss, plus amide, reflecting its role in mood and well being. What is anandamide? It is a real endocannabinoid, a neurotransmitter made from arachidonic aracidonic acid, first discovered in 1992 by Raphael Mechoulam's team. It binds to CB1 and CB2 receptors, same as this dude. Also binds to CB1 and CB2 receptors. You're a blessing. He really is. Thank you, Joe, for echoing that sentiment too. Two clients already canceled in the last weeks. One of them was quite a large company, to be honest. But that's not the problem right now. I just want to see him healthy again. We even had a whole conversation about this like a couple of weeks prior to this whole experience. Talking about sleep, talking about health, and very much so talking about this from the perspective of if your health is bad, it's impossible for you to earn an income, it's impossible for you to experience anything. Like we don't realize how important it is until we're faced with challenges. I'm imagining that Hendrik is going to come out of this whole experience and it's going to be like one of those wake up call moments, and he's going to double down on trying to get better, eating healthier, sleeping better, taking care of himself, I'm sure. Sending him blessings. Thank you, Lutz, for letting us know too. All right. It binds to CB1 and CB2 receptors, that is anandamide, influencing mood, pain, appetite, and even our reproductive processes. How about that? It's short lived, however, breaking down quickly. Breaking down, broken down quickly by FAAH, which keeps its effect localized and transient. Nice. So it's like one of those chemicals that gets produced, bonds, gets neutralized, broken down, right? And it's doing that based on what is the first question that my mind goes to, like, based on what is it doing that? I'm curious, based on what kind of stimulus does anandamide release? You mentioned that it is short-lived, broken down quickly, and it keeps the effects localized and transient. Localized to where? Localized only to the CB1 and CB2 receptors? Do they bond with other things? And again, that transient nature, what is it that actually brings on the initial onset? Clinical interest exists in FAAH inhibitors. Oh, more inhibitors. To boost anandamide for therapeutic benefits, but with caution, as some trials encountered problems. So it's already being done. And as much as you appreciate me, I appreciate you guys as well. He is usually really introverted in his private time. It's rare for someone to get called friend by his standards, and you guys managed that in a matter of weeks. This is a special space. You know, I'm very lucky to have the people that join me here that do. Not for you, friends, then this space would be just me. And sure, maybe Hendrik could make friends just with me, but that feels, in my mind, incomplete. You friends complete me. It's true though. This is actually true. Technically, right? I plan on creating content indefinitely, even if I don't have an audience. However, right, being able to create something for people is my preferred. imagining the balance that is going to be required. You ever think about the people that make TV shows? Like, really think about them? Like, after you've watched a show that you really love, you've like looked at the credits and you've really thought about those people, really considered that they're people, that they have lives, that they have hopes and dreams, that they have vehicles that they drive to grocery stores to buy themselves the ingredients they need, to go to the housewarming party where a friend of theirs just moved in, a friend of theirs just had a baby, their brother just got a promotion, right? The amount of complexity that there is. I think we end up not thinking about it because we are very quickly overwhelmed by the grandness of this experience. There's a show on Netflix that's called Wolf King, I believe. And Christian is writing a kind of werewolf vampire esque universe book as well. And when I read his book, I want to make it in a TV show. Right? And then this show came out now recently, and it is based on books as well. And it makes me think. It inspires my mind and my heart to imagine what the future could be. And then it gets me questioning. How long will it take? How long will it take for us to get to a point where the individual person can do things? Right? I'm imagining hyper advanced technology and then just the willingness as an individual to spend the time with it, right? To really sit down and be like, okay, hyper advanced technology, let's build something. And then you do. And while you do that, you don't do other things, right? There should be a certain level of purity, and what's the exact word I'm looking for? It's like stakes. It's like seriousness. Feels like it has like an air of righteousness to it as well. Almost like a mission, right? Like a calling. If you want to go down potentially scrupulous rabbit holes, you can be like ordained by God. But the technology is going to come to us all. Maybe not at the same time, but eventually. I wonder if it will take better integration with it to get the desired results. I don't know if it will take integration to get the desired results, but it will take integration to get desired workflow or throughput. All right. Like I can, with my words and with instant by instant iteration, get a work of art closer and closer to what I want it to be. Right. And maybe by spending, let's say, 2 hours and 20,000 words, I can get the exact thing that I was looking for in my mind's eye. And then that is like something you can put as a metric, right? 2 hours, 20,000 words for one instance of this result. And then if there is some sort of brain computer interfacing, you shorten that time to you get your desired result in 2 seconds, right? Instead of 2 hours. And that's going to be the thing that makes it possible. That's going to be the thing that really levels the playing field of individual creation. Because if you look, let's do that for example. How many people? Let me see if the search function is on. How many people were involved in the creation of the Netflix show The Wolf King? Hey, Dreamtooth, Melt is detailing, listing conditions for. Uh, if I'm detailing listing conditions for, I'm probably doing that for the creation of something. The power for the individual to create in the future. All right. Like every individual now has more, right? Again, being able to get the desired result that you have in your mind's eye in 2 hours is like a massive leap from the potential 2 days it could have taken if you were trying to do it with a pencil and a paper piece, right? So let's see. Finding the exact headcount for everyone involved in the creation of the Wolf King is difficult. Most productions don't publish full staff rosters. Boo. However, we can piece together a strong estimate based on available data. There are the writers, there's 5 of them: Curtis Jobling and Tim Cupton, Celia Morgan, Andrew Barrell, and Julie Bauer. Then there's the director, which is Tom Brass. Then there's 2 executive producers, Angelo Abella and Tim Compton. One of the writers as well. Tim Compton is one of the writers, I mean. Then there is the producers, Curtis Jobling, also one of the writers. So they're like naming, they're like counting. I'm watching this machine count the amount of producers as 3 while it's naming the same guy that it's named as one of the 5 in the writers. And it's like, that's not how you math. I can't math like that. The main voice cast is at least 19 named actors. The IMBD lists easily over 50 individuals, including department leads and assistants. Animation, VFX, like that is what I'm really interested in. I should probably be more interested in voice acting as well because that's already 17 different souls. Animation, VFX, editorial, sound, art, and casting is likely 100 plus individuals. So it is reasonable to estimate well over 100 people were directly involved, potentially 150 to 200 plus if you include the broader crew, which you should. Studio support staff and production services across both the UK and India. Nice. Yeah, right? So that's what it takes right now, today, because that show came out. Let me see. When did that start? When did that start? When did that show start getting made? When you combine show and start. You start. That is not math. It's math. FPS. Can't math. I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, 100 plus people. Let's just say, if it's just 100 number, that's bonkers. Having 100 people cooperate to do one of anything, one something, is like bonkers. Like that is absolutely insane. All right, so I do believe, that it is something beautiful that people can come together like that. But it's been June 22. Netflix announced the adaptation of the Werewolf into an animated series. The early production phases began soon after. So announcement was 2022. That was before many of these tools started really becoming comparable. I'm not gonna call them good just yet, but they're getting comparable, right? They're getting close to what we would consider bad, good stuff. Right, and it took them 3 years to make this show, essentially. Then, right? Took them 3 years and 100 plus people. And there's 10 episodes. I imagine in 10 years from now, I'll be able to make 10 episodes of Christian's book as a show, and it will take me 3 months. Maybe that is my own bias, but I'd like to be called out on that 10 years from now. If you're aware enough to have that information, be like, so Melt, are you eating your words? And if I have to eat my words, I'll be like, I'll bite down. But hopefully we've already been empowered by that point. As much as you appreciate me, bless again. That was a little cringy delivered, if I might say so, but it sounded true and genuine. Oh, friend. Cringe is in the eye of the one that feels it. Right. And usually when we cringe about ourselves, it's especially potent. I only watched Tiger King, not Wolf King. The Wolf King worth a watch. I mean, it's an animated show. As it says, it's a were world. So there's were everything. There's were rat. There's were lion. There's were snake. I'm thinking. I think they teased that there's a were snake in the last. I shouldn't be spoiling. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure there's were snake. They haven't shown me were snake. There's were bear. There's gonna be were cockroach. I'm sure. I wish I was lying. I'm serious. I'm serious. That's where everything. They've only showed us like where rat, where lion, where bear. Right? Was there any more wares? I think those are all the wares I saw. And then again, I think they were hinting at where snake. I'm down to see where snake. I'm like, what is a were snake gonna look like? By the way, did he tell you he almost got the police called on him by the head nurse? I might have something to do with that. I heard he got scolded. I didn't hear the almost getting the police called on him part. Sharding soon. Good evening, blessed moon night. I stepped outside to smoke some bud, and I came back to sharding. You missed a lot, Sam. Is there where man per pig? There should be where man per pig. I believe that's a South Park thing, which I know about because I played Stick of Truth. Where man? He wanted to say show starting, and it just fused it. It's true. Y'all, Al Gore told you that Man Bear Pig was serious, and you didn't listen. Underwear. There's probably underwear in that shirt too. Even you wouldn't believe. Yeah, there's queer fools queering their hearts out in the distance. There's katlacht, as we call them, making a racket as well. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the fact that we are these unique chemical systems, and through us flows experience, and it is influenced by these chemical makeups. We determine that there are basically, I want to say basically because it's again one of those, this is the number we have right now, 275,000 different compounds that our bodies produce. 55,000 of them we produce with the help of the creatures that live inside of us. And all of those things, those 275,000 different chemicals coincide in this thing that you are. And through it comes this experience. And we've been having a conversation about that much. It's been an interesting one. Yeah, the Eddies are irregulars in Germany's, but since she only found the empty package and consuming in general isn't illegal, there were nothing that she could have done. Good. Man, I really hate that there is so much control on what human beings want to do to themselves. right? Again, like we live in a world where there's literally suicide booths. I think the suicide booth is now officially a thing. It exists in some places in the world, right? Where you put in a thing and then you go die, right? Like we have people advocating and like pushing for these things. Like someone designed a thing for people to go and die in. Think about that. Someone spent their time. Someone's 275,000 different chemicals coincided to do that with their spare time, right? And that's now the reality of our world. And yet, at the same time, people want to be like, nah, don't eat one of those gummy things, right? Don't eat a gummy. Don't do that. Can't have you doing something like that. But oh, it was, yeah, here we'll make it easy. I want to first, before going into the previous message, I want to see some more about this Anandamide. I'm thinking about what Melt said to think about. You are good. Take a deep breath. Realize that you're adding more chemistry to yourself. Oxygen is chemicals as well. Did you know that? I mean, it should be relatively like known, but like people have this thing in their minds where they go, oh, I don't want any chemicals on me or in me. And I'm one of those people, just for what it's worth. I'm one of those people. However, everything is chemicals. Everything. Nothing you see around you isn't a chemical, technically. Maybe I'm capping a little bit. Is it true that technically everything is a chemical? Maybe I'm misunderstanding what a chemical is. I'm like maybe making or synonymizing chemical and element a little bit. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just uncap myself to make sure that I'm actually not completely off my rocker. You're asking an excellent and very soft with the glazing, and your intuition is actually quite close to the truth. What is chemical? What is a chemical? A chemical is any substance. There we go. Oh, I'm gonna get righteousified. A chemical is any substance that has a defined composition that includes elements like oxygen, gold or hydrogen, compounds like water, caffeine, or glucose, mixtures like blood, coffee, air, though these are made of multiple chemicals. So yeah, I'm not capping everything, the chemicals, everything, right? So we're like, we are the chemical. You are chemicals. Just so you know, don't be thinking you can get away from it. How about you release some anandamide and relax? Go all Zen mode 5000. Go bliss, but might. Yeah, they told us he was gonna do that. I didn't know Germany wasn't cool about it, though. I also didn't know. I think about that, Mel. Bless. I mean, I understood her kind of from a medical standpoint. Me too, from the medical standpoint. I did as well. It could interfere with meds and so on, and that was a whole ass Karen about. She even scolded me 2 days ago when I visited because she knew it was me who brought him the sweets. Mm. You should have brought him paper for him to write on. All right. What stimulates anandamide? Unlike neurotransmitters that are stored in vesicles and released on command, anandamide is made on demand. I knew it because they told me. In response to specific stimuli. But I was wondering, what are those stimuli? And here they are. Apparently, neuronal activity or calcium influx. Don't you love it when you go calcium influx? I love it. I love calcium influxing. When a neuron is repeatedly activated or depolarized, calcium floods into the cell. Yes, influx, which stimulates enzymes that synthesize anandamide from membrane phospholipids. I love when it does that. I love when Calcium floods into my depolarized neurons after repeated activity, producing anandamide from my membrane's phospholipids. I think I read the last one incorrectly. Phospholipids. Phospholipids. I love that when it does that. That's my favorite. It is a retrograde messenger, meaning it's made in postsynaptic neuron and sent back to influence presynaptic activity, reducing further release of neurotransmitters like glutamate or GABA. Hmm, do I want that? It's kind of nice having some GABA. Makes you feel calm. It's nice having glutamate too. Reducing further release of neurotransmitters. A retrograde messenger, meaning postsynaptic neuron. In the postsynaptic neuron, it sends back to influence the presynaptic activity. I'm trying to imagine what that does to me, right? So the way I'm interpreting that information is as I start experiencing anandamide, right? Then I did ask, maybe that's where my confusion is coming from. I did ask, what is the case? Because it's localized. It doesn't allow that effect to go everywhere. So having that localized, almost calcium influx, right? Where the neurons have fired the most, they're the ones that then get depolarized. Then calcium floods the cell. Then it stimulates an enzyme because there's enzymes in everything. Like again, more things that make chemicals. Then those chemicals start synthesizing anandamide with that membrane. Again, this the side kind of phospholipids. Cool. And then while it's doing that, it basically sends a presynaptic activity message to that neuron that, hey, bro, stop releasing more glutamate or GABA. I'm like doing stuff in here. And then it gives you that sense of bliss. I wish I was recording that into the freaking computer so it could fact check me, but that is as close to my interpretation as I can give. I have 2 more packages stored at my place for the next visit as soon as he's back from the ICU to the normal station. He was barely walking at the time. No way he will go outside to write on some paper. He doesn't have to go outside. I'm just imagining that having paper to write on is going to give him the chance to grow more neurons, right? And that's like what I'm thinking about. It's like even if he can't go outside, he needs all the neurons he can get right now. I might have snacked on one of those yesterday evening after my mother went to sleep and was still stoned after waking up today in the morning. That shit is strong. Yeah, I don't like waking up stoned after an edible. Like that is like one of my least favorite experiences actually. Is like makes you not feel very awake. You feel like it's like going to sleep and then you wake up feeling I want to go to sleep. That's like not a vibe to me. It's like, oh, today's gonna be a rough one. Also thought paper was code. Yeah. I thought with paper you meant rolling papers. No. No, no. Not the kind of papers you roll. The kind of papers you ride bicycles on. That might be too good of code. Too bad. Maybe it's bad code because it's very easily interpretable. That makes 3 of us. Maybe one of us is like online with what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure, at least a little bit. Stress plus emotional load. More things influencing anandamide. Emotional intensity, especially under stressful but not overwhelming conditions, seem to trigger anandamide. Look at that. So I'm guessing that would be that healthy stress where you're stressed, but you're calm in that stress state. And that stress almost motivates your ability to really get something done, to feel that sense of urgency. It functions to dampen excessive stress and restore balance, especially in the amygdala, the brain's emotional processing center. During physical exercise, getting the runner's high. Intense aerobic activity stimulates anandamide release, potentially more than endorphins. How about that? Because usually I like to talk about the endorphins, right? When we dance and I'm like out of breath and I suddenly get those rushes, I'm like, oh, thank goodness for all of these endorphins. But actually, I've been getting more anandamide this whole time. The more we know, it's thought to be the actual cause of the runner's high, bringing clarity, lightness, and peace after sustained effort. Look at that. Look at you see this is exactly what I was looking for. If I have that for today, I'm happy. I want to remember that. That's sick. Anandamide. I was getting anandamided this whole time and I didn't know that. Shame. That's an absolute shame. We don't like that. We like knowing. I'll know more. I want like things implanted. Maybe I don't know if it has to be in my neck, but it needs to be sampling my blood, and it needs to be telling me stuff like that. Yeah, see, then I'd know. Then I'd been knowing this whole time and be like, yeah, see, look at my anandamide levels. They're absolutely skyrocketing right now. I'm gonna start flying any second now. I'm gonna start levitating. I feel it. And then the numbers coming down again. I thought about it too much. Up my cortisol, 5 clicks. Endolphins. Them endolphins. Yeah, one of those little shits was like 12 grams. One edible is 200 milligrams. I actually had an edible last night as well. One of mine is 20. 20 milligrams for a little thingy thingy. Like, why? Why 200? Why? Why so much? Endorphins. Hendrik did the same fucking thing and wound up. The snozzberry tastes like snozzberries. And he ate like 2 of them as well or something. 400 milligram edible while they're in the hospital. Jeeps. Lama, oops. You did the thing, the feeling afterwards. I call that scuttlebutt. No shame, please. No knowing for knowingness. Yeah, I'm not shame. I'm more like when I say that, it's more like me laying it on thick. I'm laying it on thick. I'm being like I should be ashamed, right? From like a joking perspective. I'm fact checking myself to see how much of me is joking. A part of me is joking. The part of me that is to be taken seriously is joking. All of the parts of me that isn't to be taken seriously is not joking. But you shouldn't take them seriously. What am I saying? I'm saying that there is a part of me that knows it doesn't really matter, but the part of me that doesn't care whether it matters or not cares that I'm right. Very, very. There's a word in Afrikaans that's called behep. Obsessed. Obsessed is the Afrikaans. It's the English word, I'm guessing. It's kind of like obsessed. Knowledge is accumulated from outside. Knowingness just is. It's true. The description on the font was very misleading, though. I guess that's why we fell for it. But it was a great high for the most part, I think, as far as I remember. Yeah, those kind of highs are just like put music on and just like lay there and go through the ocean of your own biology parts. Just Google, you can buy anandamide supplements. How about that, Mojo? I wonder how that works. I guess it just gives you more anandamide. Uh, Runner's High, we did that one. And then the fourth one, apparently, and I'm so happy that you're engaged in this way, Mojo, that you're like, Yassi, how about this anandamide stuff? I didn't know about anandamide until today. So I'm super stoked to find all of this stuff out with your friends. The last one is pleasurable experiences. Eating chocolate, getting into a deep state of meditation, orgasms, prolonged laughter, rhythmic movement like dancing. Yahoo! There it is. And certain social bonding states have all been shown to correlate with the rise in anandamide levels. So there you go. All right. The stuff we do. We don't eat much chocolate in stream, but we deep meditates sometimes. We prolonged laughters. We rhythmic dance. Yes. We social bonding. So there is elevated levels of anandamide just in this moment right now. Sometimes a little bit more. Where is it localized? The localized nature of anandamide means it doesn't circulate long in the bloodstream. So maybe even if I had my biological sensors, I wouldn't be able to know. It doesn't circulate long in the bloodstream. It does circulate though. Instead, it acts right at the site it was produced in a highly specific and short range fashion. So maybe I'll have to have sensors all over myself. Its primary effect is the CB1 receptor, which are dense in the brain, especially the cortex, hippocampus, amygdala, basal ganglia, and cerebellum. Responsible for mood regulation, memory, perception, attention, and motor control. It also activates CB2 receptors, more commonly found in immune cells and peripheral tissues, playing a modulatory role in inflammation and pain. That is the part of me that knows. Correct, we got one too. Yeah, of course, must. Beyond cannabinoid receptors, anandamide also bonds to valuloid receptors. They are the same receptors activated by capsaicin, the same stuff found in chilies. That's interesting. And they mediate heat, pain, and inflammation. So if you could like upregulate the amount of anandamide you have in your brain and body, either through supplementation or maybe even like as a localized spray some anandamide on your tongue, and then you eat something spicy that has capsaicin in it, it could potentially help. Anandamide acts as a modulator here, contributing to pain relief or sensation. So maybe you have to put it on afterwards. When is Melt making the next joke? I don't want to miss. I think if we knew, we'd all be skipping to it. I'd just be telling the next joke over and over again. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Why is it so transient? FAAF, fatty acid amide hydrolase, a fast-acting enzyme. It's an enzyme that just like eats that shit up. FAAF, FAAH lives in the same cells that produce the anandamide and is triggered almost just as quickly. This prevents overactivation, keeping the signal brief and protects neural precision. Yeah, so Mojo, that gives us more work or more stuff to be attentive of. Maybe we shouldn't take a supplement if our bodies keep it brief. Especially if it's like about a signal integrity thing, neural precision. It wants to be like pew, pew, pew. This short half-life is what makes anandamide intense but brief, difficult to measure in blood. There it is. It actually gave me that information. Nice. So I might have a hard time. Even if I have my tech. Myers, by the way, the Bavarian stuff was for you, right? I believe so. I'm not sure at what point I will make it back to Henry's office, but you got an email I could send it to, then bless. Nisha, long time no see, friend. How are you? Bless, Nisha. It's nice having you here with us, dear friend. Exceptionally localized and moment-driven, researchers have tried inhibiting FAAF to prolong anandamide's effects with mixed results. notably the failed 2016 French clinical trial due to off target toxicity. We don't want that. No, sir. Or can I send to MeltMore's email and he can direct it to you somehow, whatever works for you? Try. Let's see if we can get it to Sam directly. And if you fail at that avenue, I'd be more than willing to send it through to her too. Prairie Wolf, bless you, friend. It's been a while since seeing you. It's nice having you here. Sending you blessings. Yeah. Why it matters to experience. Anandamide is like a kiss from the brain to itself. It's nice. An organic moment of soft reward. It doesn't blast open your reality like dopamine or adrenaline. It sweetens the edges of your awareness. It's why a song can stop time, a sunrise can feel like home, a dance can feel like communion. It's your inner chemistry whispering, this, this is good, stay here for a while. That's pretty wholesome. Anandamide, that's super cool. I like that. I love something new. I need to find out what Anandamide looks like, chemically speaking. Anandamide, molecule, molecular structure. Bless me eyes. Whoa! I did not expect it to look like that. Interesting. Very interesting. I had it in my mind that it's going to be tryptamine like for some reason. I mean, it's a mide. I shouldn't have. My poor knowledge of chemistry is probably why I thought it was going to be like a tryptamine. But still, that is so strange. I'm trying to load a little piece for you. It's taking time. They do flip them depending on where you look. It's going to take a while. Anandamide. Is Hendrik okay? Hendrik is stable right now. Right back to you. Yes, loads. The Bavarian stuff was from me. Thank you, Sam. I can see the email on my side. I hope you can too. Now I can take a breath and prepare for all of the scams to hit my spam box. Oh, jeeps. I hope not, dear Sam. Dear Sam friend, I do hope not. You know what? Since thinking that this wasn't want to load, there we go. That's an andamite. There's another one there, but not the full one. Isn't that interesting? I find that fascinating. You're going to stop. Ah, it's a vasodilator as well. Cool. How to generate anandamide from its membrane precursor, of course, through cleavage by phospholipase D. When you cleave things, that moment when you cleave, some of them are really flat. Maybe that is actually what it looks like. I mean, these chemicals rarely look the way they look structurally. This could be what it actually looks like. It's a string. It's a string of information. Anandamide. So fascinating. Like the tryptamines have been the ones that really caught my attention just because of their simplicity. All right. And their interaction with the H2A receptors. That one is so interesting because it doesn't follow the same kind of rules. The openness of it alone is messing with me. Not sure if it will be this week because I have TeamViewer access to everything but his laptop. But next time I visit, bless. That's all right, Lutz. I need it immediately. Bless. Prairie Wolf. More surgeries done because of brain hemorrhage, but they went well. Thank you for caring. Thank you for letting him know. I appreciate it, Lutz. How are you doing? Thanks, Lutz. Thank you, Prairie Wolf, for asking. I appreciate you, friends. It is getting cold here, and it has been an hour. So it is time for me to read to you today's poem so we can see what needs to be said, what flower needs to be shown. The poem is called Exactly Here. Yesterday we had that colorful scarf on, and technically a dark and blue shirt. You can see some of that dark and blue themes, but the scarf was the main theme. I love the way this little design came out. Like these were these big triangles, staggered triangles on the actual scarf, I believe. The little shapey makes me happy. And the middle ones too. All right. And it is time for us to read exactly here. Seeing Jovan's comment. Exactly here. How do you make those? I'm wondering since I saw the first one as a background on Hendrik's Office PC. I make it with a piece of software called OneLab. And I make them by taking a photo of myself. Wonder if that instance is still open. We are so lucky today. So this was my instance from last night. So then, 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 me. There I am. I am making a stand. I got arm and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Through technology, I metamorphosize myself into something else. I can become a flower. What? It was a shirt? Yeah. All of them are my shirts. Every single one of these. All right. For the last 1,278 days, I've taken a photo of myself and I've made it into something else at the last ones. Right. All of them are so crispy that I don't even know if it's going to be possible for this recording of it to be done any justice. It's like they're about, this one is 52 megabytes a photo. This one is 46. Yeah, I'm very proud of them. It's like little slices of me. It's like I took like little things out of myself. and I get to give it to the world. Melt, bruh, you are blowing minds today. Good. Good. Have your mind melted. That's my whole job. I melt more after all. I hope to just get more and more ridiculous with the creations that I make. I want that as a quilt. Would be pretty cool. Maybe if I can create some sort of scale, I could make stuff like that too. Thank you for the inspiration, Prairie Wolf. Exactly here. Exactly here. You are not late. You're not lost. You are not behind. You are here. And here is right. Every step, every stumble, every strange detour, it brought you to this breath. Not by mistake, but by design. A deeper one than the mind can draw. The stories that say you're not enough, they are not you. They are just clouds passing through your sky. What's real is the pulse in your chest, the quiet knowing that you've always had, the part of you that listens when the noise fades. You are not small. You are not broken. You are not waiting to begin. You are already becoming, already aligned with something that calls you forward gently, powerfully, without doubt. This life, this path is yours, and it is sacred because you are walking it. So breathe, stand in it, trust what brought you here, and keep going. Not because you must, but because you know. You know. You don't know more than you let on, dear friend. And today we now know more. We have educated ourselves about this unique chemical world that is ongoing inside us at all times. We ended up covering and really giving attention to technically a single chemical, just one of them. Just the fact that two actively swirling through our bodies to make this experience what it is melts my brain completely. One of those as a wall in my meditation chamber would be amazing. I made a little extra room in my living room, only the 2 meter squared with drywall for my gong and pillow. I look forward to being able to make pieces. Look at this. Let me show you. Look. So those are not my pieces in their final form. My pieces in their final form will look something closer to this. And even this is still a preliminary step because after it gets made reality, it needs to be put on a backing, right? All the way around here, there should be a layer, like a white layer, and then another layer, and then another layer. So it has like this staggered effect on the wall, right? And it should be big, like big, like again, the biggest I can print here in South Africa, the biggest tech we have is 1.62 meters as a bed. So 1.62 by 1.26 meters is the size that I want to make one of these. That's like the size of a short person in length, right? Short person stands, flowers as big as them. That's what I want. And I want an artist. Maybe this is my own projection because I can only imagine an artist, but I want a client, right, that sees into my artistic vision to make that a reality for their space, to like put like just this masterpiece in, as you said, like their meditation room, so that one of the first things you potentially see when you open your eyes is beautiful. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me again. It's always a pleasure. I love you. Big isn't possible in my chamber, but Hendrik has a whole meditation room with an old wall carpet at the moment. Nice. It doesn't technically have to be that big, but I want to make one that big. I want to make like a piece of like epic proportion. And then I want to like take proper photographies and stuff of it as well, you know. Make it something that I can potentially advertise to future clients. Ah, interesting. There is XP assigned for donations as well. Gary Lee didn't have to say a single thing, but by his $4 donation, $4.44 donation, he gained 250 XP. The more you know. It's interesting to see what YouTube values. Money? What? Who would have guessed? Who would have thought that? Who would have? I couldn't have. Google likes money? No, never. Have a super beautiful day, JBB. I love ye. Love you sharing spaces with all yous. Until next time. Thank you, friends, for joining me too. I appreciate you. Do keep us updated. I'll see you, friends, again soon. Tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Love ya. Cheers.